Hi everyone! Thank you for tuning in. I am going to be taking you to the York Dollhouse fair today, and I started by collecting together my change because in the past I've gone to the York Dollhouse fair and I haven't gone with much change, and I've found that you have to spend a certain amount on some stalls if you want to pay on card. So a little bit of advice, if you are going to these Dollhouse fairs, it's always good to take some change with you. We headed to this stall first, which is a charity stall for Breast Cancer Now, and it's got some really lovely second-hand items, lots of books, a real sort of mixture of items. So we had a really good look, and I picked up the things in the box, and that's my mum on the right hand side. When I've shown clips of some of these stalls, I've tried to put the sign so that you can see who they are. After we'd had a little look around, we decided to go and sit out in the sunshine to have our lunch, and whilst we were there, we had a look at what we'd bought from the charity stall. So my mum bought the railings at the back because she'd like to make a balcony for her doll's house, and the little clay pot is for her miniature greenhouse. I've no idea what the miniature cauldron's for. And then she also bought a little sort of dress stand because she's going to make a dress and it's going to stand in her bedroom in her doll's house. My mum has a couple of doll's houses and she's just waiting for the summer to do the Wind in the Willows doll's house, which I'm going to help her with. My mum also bought this little jug and the bowl as well. I've just remembered that the railings at the back weren't from the charity stall, but they were from a stall which I'm afraid I don't know the name of. And last but not least, here's her lunch. She didn't buy that off one of the doll's house stalls, obviously, because it's full size. We sat out in the sunshine and enjoyed our lunch because it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold. And if anybody's interested, my sandwich was delicious. It had pesto, mozzarella and sun-dried tomatoes. So we also went to some workshops. Here's one about using recycled items to make some doll's house items. And then it was time to go home, and I did have some things in my bag. When I got home, I made the most of the weather and went and sat in the garden and emptied my bag, and I'm going to show you what I bought. So first of all, for 20p from the charity stall, I bought the little wooden block there, and I'm going to use that to hold my miniature paintings in place when I paint them because I plan on making some more miniature paintings. As you can see, I also bought a lot of polymer clay, and this was all off the charity stall. I will talk to you a little bit more about this in a minute because I will show you all of the individual pieces that I bought. For now, I'll just empty my bag and show you what else is in here. So I found some really thin beading wire for 50p on the charity stall, and I know what I'm going to use that for. And I also bought this trim. You might recognise the gold trim because I have used that before. I actually bought it from the charity stall at the York Dolls House Fair on a previous occasion, and I've used it to line the edge of my bed sheet on my miniature Tudor bed. On the left here are some miniature knitting needles, so I thought that I might have a go at doing some miniature knitting. So I bought this trim because I might do some more sort of, I don't know, a tapestry, or might be more bed sheets if I put another bed up in the attic of my Tudor doll's house. I'm not sure, but as soon as I saw it, I thought actually I'll buy that, and I'm sure it'll come in useful. So this box here is where I keep all of my polymer clay. So in the little box is my plaster of Paris, and on the right in the pink box is actually a kit that I haven't yet started, and I received as a gift really kindly quite a while ago. I am saving it because I'm excited about doing it, but I want to do it when I've got lots of time where I can really concentrate on it. So that's just stored away for now, but I will show you when it comes to putting it together. So in this box, in the blue tub, I also have some air dry clay. I don't know if it'll still be alright. I'm hoping that it will be. It has been in here for quite a while. This is my Fimo gloss varnish, which I can use on polymer clay. This is a mould which you might remember from a previous video when I made a mould of a frame, and it did work despite the fact that it looks like it shouldn't have worked. That was an empty bag, not interesting at all. This is a little bag of moulds that I bought from the charity shop, and I haven't used them yet because they're for quite modern accessories like little glass bottles and a baking tray, but I'm sure I'll use them when I move on to a different doll's house. This is the polymer clay that I already had. So as you can see, I did already have quite a bit of polymer clay. I've not used polymer clay much when I've been making doll's house items, but I do hope to make some more items with it. And when I saw the polymer clay on the charity stall, I thought I'm going to grasp the opportunity and buy it because I think it's rare that you see it in a charity shop, and actually I'm sure it'll come in handy at some point. I do have some milliput in this box. Now, I've never used milliput before, and I bought it on someone's recommendation when I first started doll's housing. But has anybody used it before? I'd love to hear what you've used it for. Please let me know in the comments, because as I say, I've not used it yet, and I'm not sure how you use it. I'm not really sure what it is. So, the clay that I'm putting in here now is a mixture of the clay that I already owned. So the white female clay on the left I already owned, and this little piece here is actually translucent female clay. It says transparent/translucent, so I'm not quite sure what its finish is like when it's baked, but that is part of the selection that I bought from the charity stall. And this is the translucent Sculpey clay that I already owned. So they are a little bit different in colour, but that'll be interesting to see how they compare. This is Pro Sculpt clay. At first I wasn't sure whether it was polymer clay or not. It does have the instructions on the back which tell you what to do with it, and it does talk about baking it. So I'm assuming that it's polymer clay, but I don't know. If anyone's got experience of using this make of clay, please do let me know. Just a word of warning, all of these clays and materials are not toys, they're not intended for children. They have lots of sort of warnings and instructions on the back, so you must always use them safely. But I'll obviously follow all of the instructions when it comes to using it. There's a lump here that looks like it matches the Fema translucent clay, and a little piece here that I'm not sure what colour that is, and because it's just a tiny bit, I'll keep it in my box here with all my other little tiny bits that are already rolled up. I just keep them in here to keep them separate really from the rest of the bits. You can also see in this box that I've got some liquid Sculpey. I'm not an expert at all on using polymer clay, so if anybody wants to leave any recommendations or suggestions in the comments, I would be really grateful. So on these bags you can see some prices, but actually that's not the prices that I paid. So I paid £3.50 for all of the polymer clay. The lady on the stall wasn't sure about the condition of the polymer clay, and I'm not an expert on it either, so I don't know if it sort of lasts forever. Certainly it feels very hard, so I think it's going to need conditioning before I use it. I did leave some of the polymer clay behind because I wanted to make sure that other people got a chance to buy some, and I also was really conscious that the money goes to charity, and I think it's really important that I didn't take all of that clay for £3.50. So the colours of this clay, a lot of them I think I will be able to use, or the fluorescent pink, I'm not sure what I'll be able to use that for, especially in my Tudor doll's house. But who knows, in one of my other doll's houses that I've not started working on yet, maybe I'll be able to make something to go in there. I am excited about starting to work on my other doll's houses. So I have a little shop that I need to start working on, a more modern house, and also sort of a 3-storey doll's house that I have some plans for. When I start working on them, I will show you them in the videos. This clay here, I wasn't sure what the colour was. There seemed to have quite a lot of... Oh no, is this the translucent one again? I think I had more of this translucent one, but there was also a colour which I had a lot of packets of that's almost like a peachy colour, and I think it'll be a really useful colour. I think it'll be good for making things like miniature pies, which I can then sort of embellish and paint over. And I couldn't find a name on it anywhere. I don't know if you can see a name on the packet anywhere, I might just be overlooking it, but I had quite a few packets in this same colour. So I think that although I've got the fluorescent pink clay and the bright red clay, I think most of the other packets of clay are quite nice neutral colours which I'll be able to use for a lot of things. And of course you can mix the colours together, and you can add some, I used, a soft pastel. I'd sort of scraped some soft pastel into some of my previous colours and mixed that in to make some colours that I wanted, and that seemed to work as well. But as I say, I am not an expert at all on using polymer clay, so any advice would be appreciated. I think I have about 3 or 4 packets of this colour, and I think it's such a good neutral colour. It is going to come in so handy for a lot of the miniature makes. I also have a couple of packets of this mustardy colour of clay, which again, I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, but it's such a neutral colour that I think it'll be good as a base, so even if it's not this specific colour that I want, I'll be able to paint over it quite nicely as well. It's quite a neutral colour. So once I'd finished sorting through all of my clays and having a look at what I'd bought, I decided to put everything back away so that this storage box could go back into its position, and when I'm ready I'll start working with my polymer clay to make some new miniatures. So if you've got any ideas of what I should make with my clay, please do let me know in the comments. I always love hearing your ideas. I've still got a nice long list of things that I would like to make in the future from people's recommendations and suggestions, and I always read every single comment and I always try and reply to everyone too. Just before I finish my video, I wondered whether you wanted to have a little look around my garden at my flowers. I have had some requests in previous videos when I've shown some clips of my garden asking for a little tour around. So here's my poppies, which are huge, and I've got some beautiful rose trees where the roses are coming into bloom at the moment. My lavender's just starting to flower, so that'll be beautiful soon, and the bees love it when it's in full flower, which is lovely. Behind, I've got a planter, and it has got this plant here, I don't know what it is. Can anybody identify it? It's huge, it's growing really fast, but it looks like the type of weed that I should be able to identify. I've not pulled it out because it's intriguing me, and I'm wondering whether I planted it myself and I've forgotten. It's growing all the way up here into my climbing rose. My climbing rose is out in flower right now, and it's just beautiful. And behind it is my twisted willow tree. When I first bought this twisted willow tree about 12 years ago, it was sort of the size of probably about 2 or 3 feet, and it was just kind of one thin twig. It has grown huge. So there's a lesson to always make sure you read the label to see how much a plant's going to grow. As it happens, I love it. I think it's just beautiful. It adds such height to my garden, and the blue tits love to land in it, and it's really nice to watch. These planters in my garden I actually made a few years ago, and you can see how much the plants have kind of established themselves. This is a hydrangea Annabelle, I think it's an Annabelle. Again, I bought 3 of these, and they were tiny when I bought them, just like kind of one twig for each of them, and within a year they were huge. They are spectacular when they bloom. I don't know if you've ever seen them with the blooms on, but their flowers are enormous. And then alliums, I love alliums. My wisteria is behind it, it's finished blooming now. The leaves are still sort of a rusty colour, but they will turn a more vibrant green. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has been alright for you and that you've been able to hear it okay. And I hope to see you again soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know that you've popped by. I'd love to hear from you.